Right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Bo. I am Acelab's head of partner success, and I help out with organizing and hosting our educational content and live events. I'm going to start off with just a quick little introduction and show you how to find today's presenters on Acelab so that you can easily reach out after today's webinar if you have any questions. My colleague Arman here is then going to give just a short introduction on how you can work with Acelab as an architect in order to build out your building product specifications and receive general guidance on how to use our platform. And then we'll go ahead and get started with today's AIA portion of the event. So there'll just be a few minutes at the top here while we give folks some time to join where you hear a little bit about Acelab, and then we'll go ahead and get started with today's content. All right, so first things first, just want to show you on Acelab how you can get in touch with Monarch Metal. So if you have follow-up questions after today's event, this is a great place to come and do that. Everyone who registered for today's webinar automatically got an Acelab account, so you're already signed up and ready to go. All you need to do is sign in with the email that you used to register for today's webinar. You can also sign in with Google, so that makes it super easy. And I'll skip over showing a lot of our tools today, but we will drop a meeting link in the chat. So if you want to learn more about how to use Acelab search tools or project management tools, feel free to reach out to us. What I'm going to show you here today is just the search bar at the top. So super simple. When you know the name of a manufacturer that you're looking for, you can just type that name in. It'll start to auto-populate at the top here. And then you can head over to their page on Acelab. Can scroll down to explore some more information, view a video, explore all of their products right from this page. You can save those products to your projects or to your just general product library. If you want to get in touch, there's this contact button right here. So you can get in touch with Jared, who is on today's call as well. He's going to be dropping off for a little bit and then coming back in towards the end to answer some questions. So this contact button is a great way to get in touch. You can, nest it under a general research project if it's a more general question, or under a project specific place. I've got a ton of projects here. You can also add a new project right from this stage. You can select a product if it's a specific product question or skip over that. And then you can let them know what type of information you're looking for. So certifications, lead times, price quotes, and then go ahead and connect with that expert. And then you get a conversation created on your Acelab account. So you can use that conversation portal on Acelab to, discuss anything, type in some additional information about what you might be looking for, send attachments back and forth, whatever you need to do there. All right, with that, I am going to hand it over to my colleague Arman. He's going to give a quick introduction to how architects can work with Acelab to get product recommendations and to build out their digital product libraries. And then once we're finished with that, we'll hand it over to the Monarch team for today's AIA-approved event.
Okay, thanks, Bo. As Bo mentioned, I'm Arman. I'm Acelab's Director of Architectural Partnerships. I'm also a licensed architect here in New York. Worked across single-family, multifamily, and also commercial projects, both domestically and international. And what I really wanted to talk to you about today is some of the services that Acelab offers on top of the search and all the educational tools that are on our platform. And this program really, it's a member program called the Product Concierge. It's completely free, a consulting service to kind of help give you control and confidence over your product selections for your projects. The way it really works is you get on-demand access to all of our product specialists. And the main thing that this can really provide you is ways to save time, but really, really give you the backing that you need to make product selections for your projects. The way that this works is you come to us with questions, and we're able to answer those questions really quickly with a degree of knowledge that often is tough to find online. Some of the areas that we're able to help out with are listed here across all design phases. And so it could be really early stage design material research, down to comparison reports, substitution studies for materials, and then finally getting facilitated manufacturer connections. The way that this kind of works, when you look at it, it can be things such as, asking what facade options you have with a design idea. One question we had from a firm in California working on a hospitality project early in their phase, somewhat mid-SD, working towards starting DD, was trying to find like a concrete panel or something that looks like concrete in some way or another, but they had a pretty tight budget and they were looking for options that performed a little bit better in terms of embodied carbon emissions. And so we were able to come back with responses and some options around limestone plaster that obviously has a much lower carbon content to high performance concrete panels that are about a ½ inch thick. But the cost savings would be in the actual cladding support system. So a wide variety of options that often are tough to find when you're looking on Google. We're able to give that information to you really quickly. Other areas like the comparison reports and substitution studies happen a little bit later in the process, maybe in DD, CD, but even sometimes during some design exercises in CA and bidding. So one quick example of that was a firm came to us during CA looking for improved lacquer options for lower VOC content during application, and we were able to come back with water-based alternatives to the typical lacquer that they use in their projects, and suggested 3 or 4 manufacturers so that they can start their research from a basis of knowledge. And then finally, I think some of the most helpful parts of this is being able to connect you with the manufacturers directly, including Monarch Metal, who we know is incredibly responsive and will definitely direct you to manufacturers that are really, really responsive. We have a vast network, and if you come to us with a question for finding, PVC roofing, for example, we can direct you to 2 or 3 firms and directly connect you with the reps we work with on a day-to-day basis. I believe we have like a network of around like 700 plus reps, and they all find it very helpful. We also work with a large network of architects, and we learn a lot from the different material challenges they ask us. So if we've heard the problem before, we can help you even quicker because we've been able to answer the questions before. So the other aspect of this is we also help build out your material library. I think it's been a really important aspect that a lot of architecture firms have asked for. There's always been some effort to start a material library that's digital, but often it's tough to maintain, or the individuals that are maintaining it either leave the firm or get busy with the project deadlines that they are on currently. And so we're able to help build out a material library through the process of working with you on a regular basis. To get started, it's really simple. We will identify a project or 2 you would like to start doing some of this material research on. We'll set up a kickoff after this, a 45-minute chat where we identify those projects, the material challenges along those. It could be something as simple as we're looking for flooring options for our project, or it could be something as complex as we're looking for petrochemical-free subgrade waterproofing. And from there, during that meeting, we'll set a check-in. It'll be 2 30-minute check-ins a month. It could be like Wednesdays at 2, 30 minutes. And during those check-ins, we'll come back with responses and learn about new material challenges on your project. In the time in between those 2 weeks, our team will do expert research around this area, find answers, find data, product literature, sometimes pricing, depending what your needs are, and then connect you with the manufacturers, such as Monarch Metal in this case. And then we'll come back to the next check-in and go from there. So I'd encourage you to identify some of the projects that you could use some help on. And we'll drop a link in the chat below. I believe Bo just sent out a survey to see if anyone's interested. And we can also just have a more general information call if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the product concierge. But we've been working with a range of firms, from sole proprietors, small practices, all the way to large 250-person AE firms. It's effective on all project scales in any type of project library. So feel free to reach out. I know it's been really helpful for the firms we work with so far. And that's my time. Back to you, Bo.
Cool. Thanks, Arman. All right. So just a few housekeeping things for me. Yeah, keep an eye on the chat. We'll send over a meeting link if you want to connect with Acelab. I'm also going to send over a quick form. So we did ask for AIA numbers upon registration. In case you're worried you didn't include it there, you can include it on the form that I'll send in the chat. There will also be a space there to request a certificate. So if you're not an AIA member and you want a certificate for your records, you can let us know there as well. We will have those AIA attendance reported directly to the AIA. So please allow for some time for that to show up into your account, but that will definitely, happen very quickly. So without further ado, I think that's all the housekeeping for me, other than encouraging folks to please submit questions to the Q&A. We'll have some time at the end to go over those, and we have some more folks from the Monarch Metal team who will bring back in to answer any of your questions. All right, so without further ado, Richard, thank you so much for joining us today and for presenting this course. We're really excited to have you and to have the Monarch Metal team today here to connect with architects and to educate them on the products that you guys manufacture. So feel free to take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you for the introduction, Bo, and I appreciate everyone for joining today's meeting. Apologies if anyone heard my furry assistant in the background. So my name's Richard. I'm the National Sales Manager for Monarch Metals. Today's presentation is going to cover the fundamental applications of modern interior wall systems. We'll cover everything from the basics to some of the latest innovations in wall design. We'll look at how these systems are used in commercial buildings, how they're specified, and their impact on both aesthetics and functionality. By the end of the presentation, hopefully you'll have a better and a new perspective on how these systems shape the spaces that we inhabit every day. As a point of housekeeping, I'd like to mention that Monarch Metal is a proud AIA-approved continuing education provider. The content we'll discuss today aligns with AIA's commitment to higher quality professional learning. As a standard, learners must complete the entire program to receive the continuing education credit. AIA continuing education learning units earned upon completion of this course will be reported to AIA CES for AIA members. Certificates of completion are available for both members and non-AIA members. And I should also mention that today's program qualifies as a health, safety, and welfare credit. I'd also like to remind everyone that the material in this presentation is copyrighted and is brought to you by Monarch Metal. We're a company that have over 30 years of experience in engineered hanging systems and architectural metals. So let's go over the learning objectives today. We have 4 primary learning objectives. We're going to look at the history and evolution of interior wall systems. We'll explore the categories and functions of walls and how the functional requirements create design constraints. We'll cover the variables that drive the selection of interior wall systems and their components. And we'll see how these come together in real-world applications. Lastly, we will understand the significant impact our design choices have on our spaces. Today's agenda is going to be packed with insightful topics following our learning objectives closely. We'll start with a historical overview of walls, and then we'll move into current design options and specifications. We'll also focus on the important role of modern wall construction in architectural design, followed by a summary and a question and answer session. There's a live chat, as Bo mentioned, so you can type your questions in there during the presentation or hold them for the end during the Q&A session. All right, learning objective 1, the very beginning of walls. Here we have an example of one of the earliest signs of interior spaces. This is a cave in Lascaux, France. This is an example of interior design. You can see the paintings on the walls. There's been some debate over the age of this, but it's fascinating to see how the wall systems were implemented in this ancient practice and how they have evolved over time. Understanding this evolution helps us appreciate the foundations upon which our current practices are built. In this part of the historical exploration, we're going to focus on the impact of landmark legislations, such as the Public Health Act of 1875 and the London Building Act of 1878. In 1875, the Public Health Act was introduced. It required urban authorities to make bylaws for new streets to ensure structural stability of houses and to prevent fires, as well as to provide for drainage of the buildings and the provision of airspace around the buildings. The Building Act of 1878 added additional detail to this. So here we're looking at how walls interact with the foundations. You can see the evolution of the walls in relation to the foundation. The London Building Act of 1894 can almost be seen as a backward step as it removed the requirements for the foundation. The primary takeaway that we want to see here is that the foundation is required to be twice as wide as the wall thickness. So now we're gonna begin bringing our focus to the interior wall surfacing treatments. The two primary and most common types are gonna be plaster construction and then gypsum wallboard, or commonly referred to as sheetrock, drywall, depends on which part of the country that you live in. Throughout history, these two treatments have been the most common, and they've been used to meet the needs of privacy, insulation, structural stability. Each advancement in the interior wall treatments has been a response to changing design requirements and technological advancements. And as time progresses, these needs continue to challenge the industry to develop solutions to meet these ever-changing requirements. As we move into wall design and the associated constraints, let's first distinguish between the different types of walls. You're going to have load-bearing and non-load-bearing, exterior and interior. Let's understand their unique functions. Our primary focus will be on interior walls and how their design impacts the overall integrity and aesthetic of a building. This section view here is to show the exterior versus interior walls. Here we can categorize the walls, as I just mentioned, into the exterior and interior and load-bearing and non-load-bearing. As you can see, each category has specific functions and types. Some of those functions include structural support, weather defense. You can have decorative and aesthetic areas, and then also you want to make sure you're maximizing utility with the walls. The location and nature of the wall, i.e. being load-bearing or non-load-bearing or structural or non-structural, are very important distinctions to make for properly addressing the programmatic needs. In this view, please note the structural column in alignment with the roof above, the floor below, and the proximity to the exterior wall, providing lateral stability to the building envelope. This is a load-bearing wall condition. Then we can see the non-load-bearing condition and the partition to the right. That carries no weight other than its own. Moving on to learning objective 2. We're going to dive into the world of wall styles, details, and here creativity meets functionality. We'll explore various wall constructions, their technical executions, finishes, and functions. It's fascinating to see how the wall design can impact the utility and aesthetic appeal. In the examples we're going to speak about, there are many different types of wall construction. They range in scale and technical execution. In the world of interior design, walls come in many forms. Plaster, as we previously mentioned, not too many people know how to do that anymore. But then you have your gypsum wallboard, a drywall. You have glass wall systems, glass wall partitions, demountable and movable walls, kind of like a giant Lego set. And each of these offer a unique blend of form and function that cater to the dynamic needs of the modern design projects. It's important to understand the finished materials and the required framing components. Here we see a feature wall in an office setting. But as you can see, there's much more to the system. You can see the full framing system that is behind the finished product. This actually offers us a lot of design options we will explore in upcoming slides, but there are critical variables that you need to keep in mind when you're specifying the framing system. When choosing the interior wall system and its framing components, it's important to determine what loads are going to be carried by the framing system. In the wall cladding, there are two main components, as I just mentioned. You're going to have your panel and your framing system. The panel choice, such as stone, GFRC, or laminate, greatly influence the wall's functionality and aesthetics. It's a critical decision in the design process, and it can greatly enhance the overall feel of the space. So real quickly, I'm going to go over some more commonly found framing types for exterior applications. These are primarily rail and bracket types. Interiors will typically use a clip and cleat system, as you'll see in the upcoming slides, but understanding the variations of these different rail systems and the differences between the interior and exteriors is key in selecting the right system for your space. As I mentioned, in interior systems, framing systems often involve a French cleat, or also known as a Z-clip, for attaching panels to substrates. This specific system that you see here is an example of a progressive design. This is where panels must be installed from the lowest section or the base that you see on the right side there to the highest point, or the ceiling, as you can see in the center. This type of system saves space, provides concealed fastening for the panels, and it ensures stability and flexibility in your wall design. Finished materials are where style meets substance. We'll introduce you to a range of materials, from sustainable options to decorative panels. The choices are vast. They're essentially as wide as your imagination is. We'll see how these materials provide design flexibility and cater to a variety of application needs. The realm of finish options, as I mentioned, very vast, varied. We'll take you through high pressure laminates, acoustical options, PVC panels, and more. We'll go over how these materials can transform any space. The exposed material choice is yours. You get to design the material as you want. The space that you're designing for will dictate how you design that. Typically, you'll have to factor in sustainability, security, decorative, and then the most common materials are going to be about 3/8 of an inch thick up to 3/4 of an inch thick. When it comes to finished materials, you want to make sure that you're covering durability, sustainability, eco-friendly, and each of these brings a unique aesthetic and functional quality to your design. We'll discuss how to navigate these choices, keeping in mind those factors and the overall environmental impact. First, we're looking at the compact laminates. This is a very versatile option for wall finishes. The design is very flexible. It has impressive durability. It's very high impact and scratch resistant, as well as solvent resistant. These materials offer a robust solution for a multitude of areas, everything from a hallway to an elevator lobby. And then also you can see them in lab settings due to their solvent resistance. Now we're going to look at honeycomb composites and translucent panels. These materials aren't just about adding design appeal. They bring a functional benefit. They're lightweight, they're strong, they can add fire resistance. It's interesting to note actually that the honeycomb structures were inspired by nature, and they're extremely renowned for their strength to weight ratio. They make an excellent choice for innovative design solutions. One of the most important factors to consider when designing an interior space is going to be acoustics. The science of acoustics significantly impacts our experience. The difference between echo and reverb can alter the entire atmosphere of a room. Consider how reverberation is used in a concert hall or a music theater. It enhances the overall tone of the music. You don't want that in your office though. You want sound absorbing materials because the extra noise can be incredibly distracting. So continuing with the acoustics, we're going to dive into the IBC specifications for sound isolation. These standards ensure that our designs not only look good, but sound good too, or don't sound good if that's the goal of your program. An interesting aspect here is the role of the materials in sound absorption. Thicker materials often provide better sound isolation, which is a crucial consideration in the designing spaces, especially like recording studios or private offices. In the realm of sound control, you have materials like sound absorbing panels and mass loaded vinyl. These help minimize unwanted sound transmission, which create a comfortable acoustic environment. The sound absorbing materials can reduce noise levels almost completely, which significantly enhance the usability of the space. Effective sound control requires strategic use of materials. Mass-loaded materials, for instance, offer flexibility, and the higher mass results in better damping of noise. This approach is particularly effective in multi-unit buildings where sound privacy is a concern. I think we've all been in the cheap apartments that we lived in college, and you could hear your neighbors. All they had to do is add a little bit of extra mass in between the wall systems. When it comes to sound attenuation, the choice of material is pivotal. Different materials like melamine composites and wool offer unique sound reduction characteristics. Certain materials can absorb specific sound frequencies, which is why concert halls and cinemas use specialized acoustic panels to enhance sound quality. A key takeaway is oftentimes you'll design for specific frequencies instead of overall noise reduction. Here we'll explore one of the more advanced techniques in sound control. This technique is called decoupling wall panels. It can significantly reduce the sound insulation, the sound transmission, and it completely improves the sound insulation, especially in challenging architectural designs. Now we're moving on to the next learning objective. Every design decision that we make shapes the character and performance of our spaces. From aesthetic choices to functional considerations, our decisions have lasting impacts. The color and texture of wall surfaces can influence a room's perceived temperature. Warmer colors often make a space feel cozier. Colors also have a psychological impact on hunger. That's why McDonald's has brighter colors. Our design choices, especially in framing and finish material, inform our programmatic decisions. These choices impact everything from aesthetics to functionality, allowing you to design spaces that are not only visually appealing, but practical and efficient. Our choices can be considered the culmination of two independent systems. You have your framing system and then your finish materials. Those will inform your decisions regarding your program. Balancing the program goals involves aligning client needs, risk tolerance, and budget constraints, as was mentioned with the cement wall cladding a little while ago. Our challenge is to develop a wall panel strategy that meets these goals while ensuring that all walls meet their functional and aesthetic requirements. For example, the design of a hospital or a school will differ significantly from that of an office, which will also differ from that of a municipality. You can greatly enhance the character of a space by our choice of the panel systems. It's important to responsibly source your materials and that the manufacturers contribute to that responsible sourcing. This can also promote a more sustainable space. Interestingly, eco-friendly materials not only benefit the environment, but they can also enhance indoor air quality, which contributes to the overall well-being of the occupants. It's important to be cognizant of the space that we're designing for. High traffic areas such as the airport bathroom shown above have different performance and usability needs than a feature wall in an upscale office complex. Note that there's the smooth finish walls, the metal corner protection, you have the contrasting colors which promote brighter light, reducing the overall energy needs. It's important to strategically design our areas. Here we're going to go over some panel-to-panel joinery. This is more than just a technical detail. It's an integral part of the design aesthetics and structural integrity. Innovative joinery techniques can elevate the overall design, even though they're a small element in the actual space. By considering the environments that we're designing, the location, and the construction detailing areas that have high traffic, say that airport bathroom, we can design a strategic space. The design of edges and wall panels is a subtle but crucial element in the overall aesthetic as well. Here it's about finding the right balance between your durability, maintenance, and visual appeal. The right edge design can transform the look and feel of a wall system. Now we're going to go over some of the corners that you can find in your panel systems. The corners might also seem like a small detail, but they also play a significant role. There are various design approaches for corners that can enhance both the functionality and the aesthetics of the wall systems. And it really helps with your transition from one wall to another, or one room to another room. Thoughtful corner treatments contribute to your interior spaces. They create that cohesive transition that I was mentioning. You just see a few more transition or corner options here. The bottom piece is your inside corner, whereas all the rest of them are your outside corners. These details, while often overlooked, can make a substantial difference in the overall design. Sustainability and wall system design is about making environmentally responsible choices. From selecting raw materials with renewable content to compliance with LEED and WELL standards, it's a key factor. Sustainability is an area that's best understood as looking at and tracking, in some cases, the effects of a product or system that is manufactured by examining the way in which that product became a product. In short, it's basically a system of documentation and transparency that allows for the tracking and evaluation and traceability of a product or system. It's important to really take away here that sustainability is a scale. It's not just a yes or no. Factors such as cost will really influence how sustainable a project can be. So we're gonna go over the material that we covered here on the summary. So as we wrap up, let's revisit the key points from today's presentation. We've explored the history and evolution of wall systems. We started with the caves in Lascaux, France, the cave paintings in Lascaux, France. We identified interior and exterior walls, structural versus non-structural, or load-bearing versus non-load-bearing. We've looked at design constraints and requirements of interior wall systems. Those are primarily going to be your finish choices and the panel framing that is required with the panel selection. And we discussed how the design choices can help create a high performance, sustainable, modern wall system. And through that pretty quickly, we are at the conclusion of this. Let's go on to some questions. So thank you for your time and attention today. If there are any questions, let's go ahead and proceed with this.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, I see some questions coming in. Just a reminder to everyone to submit those questions there so that even if we don't get it today, we will have a record of it to follow up after the event. And since we do have a bit of extra time, I also wanted to encourage folks who might have a question that would be easier to ask out loud. You can raise your hand and I will unmute you and you can ask your question out loud. You don't have to have your camera on, so I promise it's not super scary. But that can be a great way if you have a longer format question or something that feels, more project specific or might just be a little difficult to type out. Cool. So first one is someone's asking if the presentation will be available as a PDF. So we will have a recording of the presentation available over on Acelab. But yeah, is the PDF presentation something that you guys would be willing to share?
Yeah.
Cool. That's good to know. All right. And then the next question. So Michael asks, I assume once you've determined the wall or panel system that you would like to use, that the manufacturer could help you out with the various details, attachments, corners, etc.
Aaron, do you want me to take this or are you going to?
I can. Howdy, folks. My name is Aaron Hawkins. I'm the Director of Product Development and Engineering for Monarch. So quick intro, but yes, that's something that manufacturers like us can help tailor solutions to your needs with panel thickness, panel type, how you're going to attach it, if it's going to be a clip system, if it's going to be an adhesive system, combination thereof, corners, edges, all sorts of transitions can help coordinate that for you.
Yeah, just to add to that, there's a lot of custom panel manufacturers and interior design. So we will work directly with the custom panel manufacturers to help with specifying the attachment.
All right, cool. Let's see, any other questions? Yes, somebody is looking for thermally broken solutions. Is that a product offering that you guys provide? They're usually used to fiberglass.
Yeah, so this presentation is mostly around interior systems. So exterior systems, that's where you're going to see thermally broken solutions. And we do offer thermally broken exterior solutions. On the interior side, we generally view that as inside of most of the control layers. So we're not going to really address that with interior products, but we do have outside solutions.
Yeah, the being in a climate controlled environment, primarily on the interior spaces, it's not as important, but you can affect the overall energy efficiency with your interior design decisions.
So, and then I guess I just kind of have a follow-up question on that. So this person says they're usually used to fiberglass. So your guys' thermally broken solutions would be metal solutions, correct?
Yeah, specifically, we have a wall bracket system that has a thermal spacer. We have project-specific spacers available, so that can be as simple as a basic material separator, like a porous polyurethane tape, all the way up to a 2-inch thick polymeric spacer. So we try to tailor that to the needs of the customers.
Right, I'm going to put in another call for questions. So if anyone else has something that they would like to ask the Monarch team, please let us know either in the Q&A box, or again, you can feel free to raise your hand. We would love to, hear from some of the folks in the audience today, get a little bit of open conversation started. So if anybody's feel free to do that. Cool. And while we're waiting for folks to submit more questions, Jared or Aaron, is there anything else that you wanted to kind of add, now that we've kind of gotten through the AIA course, anything like specific about Monarch, feel free to, jump in with like any kind of specific thoughts about your company or why folks might be interested in learning more about your product lines.
Yeah, sure. I can talk a little bit about some stuff we've got going on. One of my favorite things about working with architects, designers, is tailoring solutions to their needs. But I also find a great joy in looking at new materials that are out there. There's a huge push out there for more sustainable products, lower carbon footprint, even carbon sequestering products. And we have a lot of fun working with a few different startup manufacturers trying to do this. So there's manufacturers out there now that are trying to get panels that use all waste products, so biochars, fly ashes, rice hulls. Some of you guys are familiar with those. And we enjoy working with them, figuring out solutions. So we have some of those solutions in the works. Waterborne adhesives are also making a big push, and those are showing up in interior panels work. And one final one, we have a new snap fit product for interior systems that's really going to change things for us. It'll be for non-progressive systems. So you can install the panels in any orientation you want, any order that you want. So that's kind of an exciting development that should be coming to market in Q1.
Awesome. Cool. It looks like we have someone asking that the developer they work with typically asks for corner guards over some nice wall finishes. Do you all have any suggestions for cleaner looking products that are better integrated into the corners?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have outside corners that integrate with our wall panel system, and there's a few different ones. Some offer varying degrees of protection. A lot of architects do like minimal reveals. We can do that, but we can also do a fully captured reveal that protects the edges of the panels with a beefy aluminum extrusion that's going to wear really well, be very durable. It's not going to dent like corner bead. It's a great solution. So that's what I would recommend.
Awesome. Okay, we'll dismiss that for a moment. While we're waiting for some more questions, I just want to send a reminder. I just added in the chat again the AIA/certificate request form. So just in case you're worried you didn't include that info on registration, feel free to list your AIA number there so that we're sure that we have it. as well as if you would like a certificate for your records, you can request that through that form as well. There's a few other things in the chat. So if you also wanted to learn more about Acelab, we've got Armand's meeting link in there too. I'll send that through again in case anybody joined late. But that's a great way to get in touch with Acelab and learn how we can help you to, optimize your product specifications or, learn more about new and interesting manufacturers. All right, cool. So since we have a little bit of time and it looks like there aren't any questions coming in yet, I would love to share a little bit more about how to use Acelab to explore Monarch's products and to view product data, save them into your projects, as well as, just kind of do your general kind of product research. So Richard, do you mind if I take over screen share for a moment and show that?
The slideshow.
Perfect. Great. Let's see, and I think I might actually need you to just stop your screen share so that I can jump onto mine.
I did. I apologize for that.
All good.
Sorry for the technical difficulties here.
All good. You're lit up blue, which is very cool. I guess this blue screen we're seeing is
Yeah, I am right now. I'm gonna, here, this will fix it for you. Are you able to take over now?
let's see, I'm gonna go ahead. And if folks could let me know if you are seeing my screen or still seeing that blue screen, that would be great.
Still have blue on this end.
Okay, interesting. Richard, I'm gonna just demote you then.
I got it.
Okay, there we go. How about now? Is everyone seeing my screen now?
Still have blue.
I just hit stop share.
Oh, you can choose view options at the top of your screen with a little drop down. You just need to make sure you pick Bo.
Great. Richard, I'm just going to temporarily make you an attendee. I'll bring you back in once I'm done with this. There we go. All right, so folks should be seeing my screen now, I believe. And if you're not, you have the option to kind of select that at the top. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit more about how you can use Acelab to explore Monarch's products. So at the top of the webinar, in case you missed it, we showed you how to, just use this little search bar to type in the name of any manufacturer that you want to explore, head over to their page on Acelab. So here you can explore all of Monarch's products and, kind of general information about their brand. You can use this button to get in touch directly with the Monarch team. So that's a great way if you want to, get in touch about product literature or, project specific questions. You can use this contact button right here. And then scrolling down, I wanted to show you, how it looks to kind of explore products using Acelab. So one thing I really love about using Acelab is that, we organize all our product pages the same across different product types and across different manufacturers. So you're able to, go to any manufacturer, view their full product library right from this page. You can see, all of the both interior and exterior options that Monarch provides. And then you can open up any one of these products to see some more information, download the CAD file, as well as save this to your project. So anytime you see this little shortlist button, that's your save button essentially. So shortlist does one of two things. It both, saves the product, and then it also adds it to like a handy comparison tool. So when you go back to view the products that you've saved to your projects, you can kind of compare the product data, easily download the files. All of that information gets saved over to your Acelab account. So everybody who signed up gets a general research project automatically. So if you haven't set up your project portal, it's super easy to, just use this to do your general research. You can always save things there. And then you can, add project specific information if you would like to do that as well. So we host downloadable files. You can see an overview of the kind of main product data, and then you can always reach out to the Monarch team directly in order to get some more information. You can nest that under a project and let them know exactly the information that you're looking for. And what that'll do is create a conversation automatically over on your Acelab account. So you can head to those conversations. And this chat works great as a way to, communicate about project details, because as you see over here, I'm under my general research, so there's not a ton of project details here, but if you have, a project specific question, you can nest that under a project, and you can actually add in project details here so that they can see, general location, rough budget. It really simplifies the communication between, manufacturers and architects, because you're not having to, kind of repeat yourself about project details or copy and paste over your project details from a former email. All you have to do is nest it under your project, and those project details will automatically show up. So it really simplifies that conversation, I believe. And you can send attachments back and forth. So you can send your drawing files. You can, create bulleted lists. It works pretty similarly to any other chat function. And then to get back to those conversations, just hover over your library and you head over to your conversations tab. So here you can see that's the most recent conversation I started, as well as a few other pending conversations that I have going on. So this is a great way to, get in touch with different manufacturers, get in touch with today's course providers after the webinar, and, be able to reach out for more information. And you'll receive an email ping anytime you have a response over on your Acelab account. So you don't have to kind of always, have this tab open and checking it. But yeah, this is a great place to come back and, get some more information from today's course providers. All right. And then while we're here, we've got a few more minutes. Just want to encourage folks, if you did have any more questions, feel free to submit those now. If not, I'm going to go ahead and just show you a few more things that you can do using Acelab as you're doing your product research. So here you can see that product that I saved is right here in my library under my products, and I can go to see all of my saved products super easily. You get kind of an overview of your most recent work on this dashboard page, as well as conversations that you're in. So if you were here for the top of the session and you heard Armand's discussion about how we work directly with architects, here you can see I've got a conversation with Armand and with some other folks, talking about product research. So we use Acelab's portal as well to communicate with the architects that we are helping out. And you can always reach out to us to, get in touch if you have any questions, if you're looking for product recommendations. And here you've got your searches. So you can save your searches as well too, kind of keep the research stage organized, as well as your projects so that you can, keep everything nested under project specific locations. Then over here, we've got all of our searchable product categories. So I'll take us through a quick cladding support search, since that relates to today's topic a bit. So once you click on a product category, you basically have two options. You can either get recommendations from Acelab's team, or you can explore products yourself. So I'm going to take us through the explore path, since that one's a little bit, more fun. We can see the product options at the end, but this is a great way to, just quickly get recommendations. And actually to just quickly show you that, we will ask you, if you're subbing out a product, if you have like specific requirements, in terms of like lead time, cost. So you can let us know a lot of information about your inquiry before you get in touch with us so that we're able to come prepared with, some potential options. But to take us through a quick cladding support search, you can go ahead and explore products. And here you can, let us know what type of product you're looking for. So we had somebody ask about thermally broken support systems. We have non-thermally broken, we have brackets. Let's go ahead and click this one since we had somebody ask about that. That'll take us over to our results page where here you can, scroll through the product options that we had available. So depending on the product type, there'll be more or less options available here. And you can change up your filter right from this page. So, you don't have to kind of go back to that closed quiz. You can just, switch up what you're looking for here. And then you can always save these products. You can open up the page to view some more product information, download any files. And you'll start to notice as you explore Acelab's site more that, if we have somebody who we know is onboarded and responsive, you'll have a direct button to reach out to them. And if we don't have somebody who we know is onboarded and responsive, that'll go through Acelab's team. So we're always making sure to, put you in touch with somebody who we know is going to respond. We don't want to have, you reaching out to folks that might not have the answers that you need or might not have the ability to respond to your inquiry. And I see somebody has asked if you're able to provide product samples through Acelab. So you can reach out about any sample. So anytime you go through this kind of outreach flow, you can click samples, and that'll, connect you with an expert who will either it's the manufacturer directly and they will work to get you a sample, or it will be, someone from Acelab's team who will receive that request and say, okay, we need to find somebody who's able to fulfill that sample request. So yeah, samples are definitely something we can help out with. And that's actually another great reason to get in touch with Armand about the Product Concierge Consulting Program. So again, that's a free service. And one of the things we actually do really often with those architecture firms that we partner with is help them out with building physical sample libraries. So architects will come to us and let us know, like, hey, we're really looking to build out our cladding samples. You know, this is the size of storage that we have. These are the types of products we're interested in looking into. And we'll just, you know, kind of go to work doing some research and getting some samples sent over to the firm so that they can have, you know, that work taken off of their plate. So samples are definitely, yeah, something we can help out with both on the site. And if you want to work more closely with us, we can provide samples by, you know, helping to build out that library for you guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop my share there, but yeah, just want to thank everyone for joining today and for letting me share a little bit more about Acelab and how you can get in touch with Monarch on Acelab. So I really encourage everyone after today's webinar, if you have any questions, if you'd like to reach out to Monarch for samples or product literature, please feel free to use Acelab to get in touch with them. They are on our site and they will be ready to answer your requests after today's webinar. All right, cool. And thank you to the Monarch team today for joining. Let's see, I'm going to bring Richard back so he can say his final closing thoughts as well. All right, cool. Promoting panelists to Richard. But yeah, thank you, Aaron, and thank you, Jared, for joining today. And thank you so much, Richard, for providing today's AIA-approved course. I know I definitely learned a lot, so I'm sure the folks in today's audience really appreciated it as well. I'm seeing some thank yous come through in the chat too, so yeah, great job today. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
I was just saying I still have the blue lights on. I like that look. But thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully you came away with, I guess, just a fundamental overview of interior wall spaces. Reach out if you have any questions on specific topics. We look forward to helping you on future projects.
Awesome. All right, cool. So with that, I think I'll let folks go a few minutes early, give you 10 minutes back in your day. But yeah, thanks again to all of our attendees for joining today. And oh, we've got a raised hand. Wait, first I'll see if this person, they unraised it. Thought maybe somebody wanted to jump in and say something out loud. But yeah, thank you again to all of our attendees. We appreciate your engagement. We appreciate you coming out today. And I hope that everybody has a great holiday season.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Bo.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.